I saw something this week in 2027, which isn't that far away now, just a couple of years. We are going to have a record number of Americans about to turn 65. The question is, should they be forced to retire? So in France last year, there were riots, as there often are, as they increased the retirement age from 62 to 64. But what about those who want to keep working? Well, a lot of jobs allow workers to retire whenever they like, but some jobs are impossible to keep doing after you turn 65. In the US, the Airline Pilots Association already forces pilots to retire at age 65, but a lot simply don't want to or can't afford to. Barry Kendrick is the president of Raise the Pilot Age, and he emphasizes, bottom line, I want to keep flying. Kendrick, a professional pilot who recently turned 66, retired from a major airline after flying Boeing 777s internationally. So although he still flies smaller planes, he is ineligible to fly for major airlines, which of course pay the most. He says, I've taken a 60% pay hit to do what I'm doing now, highlighting the financial impact of mandatory retirement age. So despite passing all necessary physical and cognitive tests, Kendrick is forced to take jobs that pay less and can end up being far more stressful than flying a larger aircraft. He says a small airplane is a different environment. That's actually physically more taxing than what I was actually doing before. So the mandatory retirement age doesn't reflect the capabilities and desires of experienced pilots, it seems, who do remain fit and qualified to fly. So this is a question, Al, should certain jobs have upper age limits? And what is the impact in 2027 when 4 to 5 million people in the US suddenly are eligible to retire?
Well, I think that newsworthy, if you're following the news this week, you'll see that there's going to be a debate with the current president of the US and then the one who wants to be president, who I cannot bring myself to name. However, I think one's 78 and Biden's 81. So, I mean, if we are, there's been a lot of flack for Biden recently by saying that he's just not capable and he's too old. I'm not sure why replacing with someone who will be 82 by the time that he finishes his term is a much better idea, amongst all the other reasons why I believe.
That's the least of my concerns about him becoming president again.
But anyway, in the effort to stay slightly balanced. So yes, I can definitely see that, and I can see with something like like heart surgery. Definitely, you can tell as you get older that you do have slightly, or a lot of people feel slightly less able to do things as quickly, think as quickly. So yes, I can see that side of it. I think all that this guy's asking for was his name Kendrick. I think all he was asking for, Kendrick, all he was asking for is to go from 65 to 67 to give an extra 2 years, which doesn't seem a big ask to me. And I'm not quite sure why the union is so against it. But anyway, that's a different discussion for a different sector. But the fact is, I can see there should be a top limit to certain jobs. I can see that. I can also see there being a top limit to something that's a job that's very stressful or very physical. Yes, I can see that there should be something, but I don't know. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I was interested when you told me about this, is I can see the pros and the cons.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because on the flip side, there's protests in the UK of teachers that don't want their retirement age to go up. I think this is a problem, isn't it? It's these sweeping, generalized rules that force people to make a choice. And I think it's really that lack of control and that lack of autonomy that people are frustrated by, rather than necessarily the rule itself. I know I can see, commercially different things for this. I can see that potentially insuring somebody over the age of 65 might be tricky. It might not be necessarily that the airline is hard and fast on that rule. It might be the insurance they can get in terms of that sense. I mean, it does seem to make sense that if you're flying with a larger airline, larger airplanes, you're going to have more crew. So you just pair people up with potentially younger people. But as long as you're passing all the cognitive and physical tests, then I appreciate his frustration. Why should he be forced to retire?
And if he'd have been a younger person in Sully's shoes, the one who landed in the Hudson, perhaps they wouldn't have had the skill or the expertise to do that.